everybody, it's Niketa Harris
and Donovan Harris,
and it's Diabetes Awareness Month. And we've been getting questions in from real people dealing with diabetes who are in couples, relationships, married, just dating. And today's question, we're married, and today's question is, how do you cope with a lifelong disease as a couple?
how do I help myself cope? I like to work out. I like to draw from occasionally, work on my hobby, like I'm working on a kid's fashion design, stuff like that. Stretch. Every once in a while in the morning when I get up before work, I meditate a little bit. Basically, like I said, I'll watch the news or do something that I love to do. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think doing stuff that gets me out of my head, because diabetes is a 24/7 event. You're making choices daily,
Right.
hourly, minute by minute that affect whether you're going to be in the hospital or not.
Right.
So things like walking in the park that's down the street, or going to the beach. I like outside nature where it's like quiet and you're just hearing birds, or if you're by the beach hearing the seals and stuff. Kind of takes me out of my head and just focus on kind of the beauty of earth and beauty of Mother Nature. And he'll go on hikes with me as well, and we can just talk and kind of be together. And then one of the complications I have is gastroparesis, and another one is neuropathy. And neuropathy is nerve damage in my lower legs and feet area. And so every night
Listen up, T3.
he massages my lower legs and my feet. And I've actually gotten off the pharmaceuticals because now I just take calcium magnesium, which is kind of like giving a baby milk at night to go to sleep. So it relaxes my muscles, and then on top of him giving me a quick little massage before I go to sleep really helps.
Because the massage, just to give a little input, the massage helps stimulate the, not only muscles, but it helps get blood circulation in there. And then also for her stomach gastroparesis, I do this technique where you're tracing the colon, kind of going in a circular motion. And what that does is help eases her system.
Gastroparesis is nerve damage in the stomach, so digestion is way slower for me than your average stomach.
So T3, you can be a nerve mover too. No, I want to say it's so important as a T3 to make sure that I'm on point with my meditation and making sure that I'm straight, because if I'm not my full self, I can't give her my full self. So I think it's important that we make sure we're aligned with the universe, with God, our spirituality, so that we can be able to give our partners, our loved ones, that feedback. And
it's an up and down roller coaster. I think a lot of times when you're newly diagnosed, you go through the denial phase, and then eventually you just say, like, I'm going to take control over this disease. It's not going to take control over me.
Right.
But saying that, being a type 1, I could wake up in the morning with like 200, 300 blood sugar, and it's like, okay, I wasn't doing anything but sleeping. So that's kind of annoying. My pancreas is sitting in here not doing anything. And for those who are not quite aware what diabetes is, diabetes one-on-one Cliff's Notes version is your pancreas creates insulin, and insulin is like a key that opens up the cell, and then when you eat the food, the sugars and things from the food go into the cell because insulin has opened the door, thus giving you energy from your food because the insulin has opened up the door and it goes in there. My pancreas is sitting in there dead as a dog, and it's not opening up the cell. It's not giving insulin, so I have to externally take insulin to open up the cells. Otherwise, if I don't, the sugar from the food and everything is just in my veins, giving me like slurpy, syrupy veins, which leads to all kind of complications if not treated over a long period of time. Mm-hmm. So the roller coaster of that and daily tweaking things can be overwhelming. So sometimes you get in a depressed mode, like, oh, why me kind of thing, or I did everything right, why is this number like this? And how would you say you help me when I get to those like
Well,
just burst out crying for no reason.
And like I've stated before, you have to be, as a T3, you have to learn to be calm, no matter what, and you have to basically learn how to look at the scenario and analyze with the things that you've learned and that you pick up through your loved one. So what I've learned, like I said, I just basically just try to be a support for her. So if I know that there's a function, like again with changing her pump supplies, I'll try to make sure that I'm part of that. You know, if she's changing, I know she knows how to do it like that, but I'll come over and say, okay, babe, what can I do? You know, can I give you the supply, lay the supplies out, get whatever she needs, change a cartridge, whatever you need to do.
And that's kind of just depending on the person for you T3s, because some people are like, I can do it, and some people are like, oh, I'll come be a part of this. So that's something you just have to fill out as a couple, how involved or not involved in those kind of things. Because sometimes we go to this conference for type 1s, and they say sometimes the type 3s can be like, like, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing that?
Right. So
sometimes that's annoying because we are living with this disease, and so just being a support and figuring out as your own individual couple how integrated or not integrated you want to be with those kind of things.
So T3s, I think it's good just to be listeners, just also, I think as a listener, just in life in general, because when you listen, you start to know, okay, well, even if she's feeling low or she's feeling high, or you start to know those small key points. Living with someone with type 1 diabetes is like life. It's always something, you're always learning, it's always evolving, so you're always learning about the disease. There's always things you can learn about the disease. So I just think it's so important to take the time out to really get to know this person, really get to make sure that you just involved, man. You know, it's key, you know, but I just think it's so key when that T1 lets that T3 in, it's just that much of a blessing.
T2 lets
or T2 in. Exactly. You know,
and I think, I mean, just like any relationship advice that someone would give, communication is key. So I think when you're in a couple, when you're in a relationship, when you're married, I think just being transparent about your feelings so that the other person knows what you're going through, because they're not mind readers. So kind of have to let them know. That would help the lines of communication be easier. And if you're lucky to have a partner who's very invested and interested in really being integrated in a part of the care portion or the management portion of the disease, to try to not shy away from that and be in your own little cocoon bubble, because this is not something that you have to do by yourself. And if you're in a couple or relationship, don't do it by yourself.
And you might as well open up and let the person in, because guess what? When you go to the doctor, guess what? Even though he's your doctor, he's in on it, and your nurse practitioner's in on it. So why not let the loved one in on it? I think it's just key. You know, and like I said, that's every couple is different. But I just think when you're battling any type of disease or on this earth, it just helps when you have that person that's really longing and want to help you through it. It just makes it easier. But when you try to take on a challenge, like we all know in anything that we face in life, by yourself, it's harder.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say, it's just harder. So,
and if you're single or in a situation where you are by yourself, you can go to www.ada.org, hope that's right, and find your local groups that are in your neighborhoods. I'm a big, huge fan of support groups, because sometimes you can be in your head and think that you're all alone, and then all of a sudden you get in a group of like 10 people and you guys are all sharing the exact same story. You're like, it kind of opens your mind, and you can share tricks and trades to help management. So whether you're in a couple or single, I strongly suggest getting involved in some kind of support group with other people who are going through the exact same thing that you're going through.
And T3s, you go to those groups too.
Yeah. So hope that was helpful. Keep the questions coming.
Yes, guys, we thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.